Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Smith with Pride Adventure Network. Today I'm doing something a little different for our episode 2, and I'm interviewing myself. I want to give you a little information about myself and why I started Pride Adventure Network and where I come from and what's led me to doing this in the community. First of all, my name's Chris Smith. First question here is, where did I grow up? I come from Mesa, Arizona. I am the middle child of 7 kids in a Mormon family. I went on my Mormon mission to Portland, Oregon, and I came out when I was 21 years old. So I was in college. I was playing college basketball at the time on a full-ride scholarship, and that's the time I came out. I jumped right into the LGBT community. Going back a little bit in my childhood, though, my dad had a TV show, an outdoor adventure TV show that was mostly hunting and fishing. It was called Arizona Outdoors, and he did that for most of my childhood. So we were constantly, yeah, at stores, and people would recognize my dad, and we'd go. Once in a while, we'd be on the shows. I remember one time I was on a show when the four-wheelers just came out. It was a long time ago, and it was supposed to be a fun commercial for Yamaha, and I wrecked the quad and put a big gash in my helmet, and luckily I was wearing a helmet. So it ended up becoming a safety video for Yamaha, so I thought that was an interesting thing. When I was a kid, I spent time, as sometimes you don't get to decide everything you do, but I wouldn't give it back. I did hunt for a while until I was about 16 when I decided that just wasn't for me. So a little bit about my past gay life. As I came out and discovered really who I was and started getting into business and things like that, I really decided to jump 100% full force into the LGBTQ community. I didn't have a whole lot of knowledge, but I knew that's who I wanted to be and that's who I wanted to be around. It was so important for me to be around like-minded friends. At that time, I didn't know I had gay siblings. I have a gay brother and a bisexual sister. I jumped into being part of a gay magazine then I went into the gay bar scene where I was a partner in a gay bar. I general managed one of the largest nightclubs in Scottsdale called Forbidden Nightclub. Those in Phoenix probably remember that. And we had a side room that we decided to turn into a drag room, the showroom at Forbidden. That was so much fun. Barbara Seville was our headliner. She hosted the show. She brought in all the queens. We had this narrow stairway where everybody had to go up into the office to do their changes. It was just a really fun time. Right at the end of me doing that for 2 or 3 years, I met my now husband. So that had to have been a little over 15 years ago now. And I met CK. And the rest was history. We settled down. I got a corporate job in corporate America running marketing for a dental company. We moved to California because of a job opportunity. CK moved over with me, of course, in his travel role in corporate travel and got into entertainment travel where he does travel for like movies and TV shows. I was missing some of the outdoor things I did in the gay community in Arizona. We did a lot of off-roading, cactus four-wheelers in Arizona. That was so much fun. And I really wanted to do that more here. So I started an organization called Pacific Four-Wheelers. And Pacific Four-Wheelers was mostly like Jeeps and off-roading machines where we go up to Big Bear and some other areas and do a lot of off-roading. What I realized is a lot of the friends that I was also making didn't have four-wheel drives, or we couldn't all fit in my Jeep. And so we started doing some hikes. We started going camping, which I hadn't done in a while. So that was a lot of fun. A few of us got together in Yosemite National Park in September 2017. And remember, it was Brian, it was TJ, it was a bunch of guys, it was John Talbot. So it was a great group of guys. And we sat around the fire and we decided we need to do more of this and we need to develop a community to do this. And so we decided to develop a community of like-minded people. They could get together and go camping and hiking, and it was called California Gay Adventures. We started a Facebook group. It grew, a couple hundred people. We started doing more and more. We went to Bass Lake. In 2018, we even did our first international trip. We went to Costa Rica. The rest is history. We developed into a not-for-profit organization. We have 7 members of our board of directors and over 830 members. It's really neat to see everybody come together. And I'm so inspired every day. Next weekend, we have a camping trip in Death Valley. We have 32 of us going to that. So we're going to go experience all the really cool spots. Many of our members come camping with us for their very first time. Or maybe they've been camping, but they were camping as a kid in Boy Scouts. You don't have to have all your camping gear. You just have to get a tent, a sleeping bag, a pillow, maybe an extra blanket if it's cold, and bring a little bit of food because we have the full kitchen. We have everything you need. If it's your first time, you can borrow from people. People want to help each other out. It's a great experience with amazing, like-minded people. Now, how do I get back to the Pride Adventure Network? I don't have this all scripted. I'm just making this up as I go. But one of the things that really inspired me in doing this and really excited me is I do have a passion for travel. I have a passion for adventure. We took a group during COVID when we really wanted to get outside to Yellowstone. Some of us drove, some people flew. We went to the Grand Tetons. It snowed on us Labor Day weekend, and then we went into Yellowstone and saw so many animals. That was totally adventurous. It was such a great experience. Many of us still talk about that trip all the time. From there, we've done weekend adventures where we go to Oregon and we go whitewater rafting, or we do our annual California whitewater rafting trip. I wanted to do a little bit more of this and try to get out into the world. And one of my goals really is how do I do this full time? As a not-for-profit organization, that didn't make sense. So what I did was I started dabbling in planning group trips. We did Costa Rica. We went on an Alaska cruise. We went to Southeast Asia. It clicked in my mind that I could do this full time. I could live my passion. I could take people on group adventures and we could have so much fun. And it wasn't just any group. It's a group of like-minded people. With some of the trips that we have planned for 2025, we have our Costa Rica trip coming up in less than 90 days. So I'm excited about that in April. We have a group of 25 going on that trip. After Costa Rica, we have a group from California Gay Adventures going to Puerto Vallarta Pride in May. We have about 35 people going on that trip. That's one of our resort trips, which we'll do more of. We'll try to have 1 or 2 resort trips versus the tours where you're bopping around to different places throughout a country, is where you just literally go to one resort and you stay at that resort, whether it's a big wellness retreat or it's a pride event or something like that. We'll try to switch it up and go to different places. In June, we are going to South Africa. So that is 122 days away. We have 2 groups going. It's a little bit more intimate trip because of the way that the safaris are set up. We're going to Cape Town, and then we're going to Johannesburg. We're hitting Kruger National Park. We're going to Karangwe Game Reserve. We're going to Victoria Falls, Chobe National Park in Botswana, and we're doing a Zambezi River cruise. So that's going to be really cool. In July, next, we are going to go to Canada. Our Canada trip is a little different. Banff is one of those places that's just so beautiful, and staying in the hotels and stuff is awesome too. But we are going to be camping with the G Adventures Expedition crew. We're going to do a bunch of epic hikes. Some of them are optional. You can go on the hikes that day if you want to. If maybe the one the day before was a little too much, you can stay in camp, or you can go canoeing on the lake or something like that. So we're going to be going to Waterton Lakes. We're going to Jasper. We're going to Banff. We'll do the Banff hot springs at the hotel there. They've got a really beautiful hot springs. We're whitewater rafting on the Bow River as well. And we're going to Iceland in August for Pride weekend. So I'm getting there a couple days before Pride weekend. And we're going to experience Pride weekend, then go out on a big 10-day tour of Iceland. And we'll end at the Blue Lagoon. So I just keep saying it's going to be epic and awesome. I need to come up with some new words, but it really is going to be epic. September, we're going to Italy. We do have a few spots available on our Italy trip. This is a little bit longer trip. This is a 14-day trip in Italy. We are starting in Venice in the Grand Canal at the Grand Venetian Hotel. And then we go to Cinque Terre and go check out that beautiful area, Florence, and then we go to Naples, and then we go to Pompeii with an archaeologist. This is actually a National Geographic tour, so we're going to be with G Adventures, National Geographic Journeys. So we're going to have a little extra. When we say it's the equivalent of a luxury trip, but on the adventure side. So Nat Geo is one of those ones where you're getting a lot of additional information. If you like history, this is the kind of trip that you want to come on. You get a little extra oomph, if you will, on adventure. Our Costa Rica trip is more about ziplining and rappelling and things like that. This one is not going to be as intense physically, but we're going to get a lot more information. We go to Sorrento after Pompeii and then do the Amalfi Coast. We will have a day trip out to the Isle of Capri, which will be beautiful. I want to do the Blue Grotto and then end up in Rome. And we're in Rome for 2 or 3 days. I'm going to stay for a post trip there for 2 extra nights. Last time that my husband and I went to Rome, we were on a cruise. And if anybody's ever been on a cruise and stopped in Rome, it's the craziest day. It's really like the craziest day you have because you get off the ship, you can't get off until I forget what time it was. And when you get back, you are rushing to get back on the ship. And I think CK wanted a divorce after that because I saw the ship in front of us. I could have sworn we were supposed to go to the right, and we kept going to the right. You could see the ship, and we kept going to the right. People were telling us something in Italian, and I couldn't tell what it was. And finally, we figured out we were in the wrong spot, and we had to go all the way back around after a full day. So that was one of those travel stressful moments, but we got through it. Let's see. After Italy. So after Italy, since October, we have a special adventure planned in central Mexico. This is a G Adventures G Lux tour over Dia de los Muertos. So we're going to start in Oaxaca. We're going to see all the preparations for Dia de los Muertos, which is really cool to see all of those and all the beautiful decorations. And then we're going to Puebla. We'll see the beautiful architecture there. We'll have the amazing food there. We're going to go to, I can't say it in Spanish, but it's a petrified waterfall. That's also in the Oaxaca area. We'll do a special bike ride there. G-Lux has this OMG wow stay that's going to be beautiful. I'm excited about that. Then we go into Mexico City. We go to Teotihuacan, and you do have an option. I think most of us will probably do it. You do have to get up a little earlier. My husband did this for me for my birthday 3 years ago. You wake up early and you go on a hot air balloon ride right over the pyramids. And I will tell you, do it. Spend a little extra money and do it because it's an experience that you'll remember the rest of your life. After Mexico City, we do have an optional excursion. It's like it's outside of the tour, so we're on our own. I'm renting an SUV. We're going to go to this area called Grutas Tolatongo. I'll share some pictures of it on the screen here during this episode. But check out these kind of pools on the side of the cliff. I'm sure you've seen pictures of these. And then you can go into some grottos and some, the water's dripping through. There is a hotel up at the top. So we'll go up there before we fly home out of Mexico City. After that, December is our Ecuador trip. So we've got a couple spots. It is a California Gay Adventures trip. So it's members of California Gay Adventures. You can easily become a member if you're interested in it. We're going to Ecuador. We're going to Cotopaxi after we get into Quito, and where we're going to be 11,000 feet up. And then we go to the Galapagos Islands, and I won't even go through every island, San Cristobal and all these, but we're going to see the giant tortoises. We're going to see the blue-footed booby. We're going to be able to swim at Kicker Rock and they have a lot of sea lions and stuff around there and seals, and that's going to be beautiful to do. So I'm really looking forward to 2025. Going into 2026, and I know that I'm going, so you can always fast forward a little bit through this if you want more information about Pride Adventure Network, which I'll talk about next. But 2026, we don't have that on our website yet. We actually have a brand new website launching in the next week or two. We're going to have all our 2026 information up within the next month. But I'll just go through it quick. Alaska in January. End of March, we're going to do Japan. So we're going to Japan for cherry blossom season the last week of March, early April. Then we go into May. We are putting a very special California Gay Adventures resort weekend together. Can't give the details on that yet because it's not yet confirmed. We're working on it in May, possibly over Memorial Day weekend. When you jump into July, we are going to France, Mont Blanc, which is in the French Alps. We go to Geneva, into Chamonix. It'll be similar to our Banff trip. However, we are staying in inns and lodges, but every day you'll have a different hike that you can do or not do. It's up to you. This will be more of an active adventure trip. Our next segment will be World Pride 2026 in Amsterdam. We are working on the hotel reservations now. We're going to have an awesome hotel right on the canal. We're going to watch the Pride Parade right from the shore. And then after Amsterdam, that's going to be I think it'll be 5 or 6 days there where we'll do some tours and stuff before Pride. After that, on August 3rd, we depart. And this is for a third segment in Europe. That when we do these segments, sometimes people go on all segments, and sometimes people will leave and we'll have new people join, which is really nice and it's really fun to do. We did this when we were in Southeast Asia. After Amsterdam, we're going to do an Eastern European tour. We start in Berlin, gather ourselves, and get ready to go for an adventure. Berlin, Prague, Vienna, Budapest. It's 8, maybe 9 days. So look forward to that. check that out. Got some other things in the works. I can mention that don't have it finalized yet, but we're trying to finalize an Egypt trip for early November 2026. And then we're working on finalizing our final trip of the year in 2026 will be a Vietnam tour. It's also a G Adventures G Lux tour. A lot of times you can go to Southeast Asia for very inexpensive prices and stay in pretty decent places. This is going to be that next level. This is going to be those really nice spots, really cool adventures, really cool experiences, going out on some private yachts and things like that. So I'm looking forward to that in 2020 as well. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go into a little bit more of what Pride Adventure Network is. I do feel like there's something missing in the community. And I think there's so many people doing such a great job bringing people into the outdoors. But there is something that I feel, and it's not a slight on anybody at all. I think that everybody is doing their best. I'm almost doing a social experiment to see if we can get together and we can promote each other and lift each other up. There's going to be people that it's easier to lift up. Gay men, it's easier to promote. It's easier to say, hey, let's go party. Let's go have fun. Let's go on an adventure. I think it's a little more difficult for other colors of the rainbow, if you will. I recently posted about an organization in New York that is a trans organization that's working with people in the outdoors. And there's a lot of smaller groups like that need support. And I think that we can come together with a network and help promote, whether it's promoting on social media and just lifting each other that way through a visual aspect where people can just find each other. And sometimes it's just visibility. What we're planning on doing, and I will share something right here as well, is we are launching prideadventures.com. I'm hoping to get the network up by April, but it may be delayed a little bit. Our California Gay Adventures, we're actually on a network called Mighty Networks. It works really well. It's where our members can get in. Our members can see everything that's going on. They can see events. They can look forward. They can see calendars and all of that. We want to develop a network that's completely free that allows everybody to get in and everybody to see what's going on. And it is throughout the country. You'll be able to pick and choose what you want to see. We want this to be a place where community members, especially not-for-profit and nonprofit organizations, can come in as long as they're outdoor adventure, travel-oriented. Those are the organizations that we're going to invite. It will act as a directory where someone can come in and they can say, oh, I want to join that space. And we'll call them spaces. And they can go to these safe spaces and they can get in and they can meet a new community. Maybe they're looking at moving to New York. Maybe they're a trans person that lives somewhere else and they see that trans organization that does the outdoor stuff. And now they almost instantly have a group of friends that they can go hiking with and go kayaking with and even go to one of their social events. Like with CGA, we say we're outdoor adventure, which we are, but we also do bowling. We also do picnics. We also do beach days. And that's really important for all of us to be able to have those connections with other like-minded people. We're also going to invite some of the content creators that are out there that are doing really well, whether they're promoting themselves. And it's just really fun to be a content creator. And those that have built huge followings, I feel like they could add something to help lift up some of these organizations. And that's the idea behind Pride Adventure Network. And as I mentioned on the website, there's a mission and vision. The vision is evolving and we will evolve as a community together. I want to give it a really good shot. I know that California Gay Adventures has been amazing so far, and I feel like we could do something similar on the national level. Let me know what you think. If you watch this whole thing, which we'll see how many people actually do, drop some comments. Let me know what your ideas are. I think that we could crowd idea E8. But here's a cis white gay man, I don't know, trying to make a difference. See what we can do. I need some help. I need more voices. I definitely don't know it all. So I would love to connect with you. I would love to get some more guests on this podcast so we could talk about it and we can figure out, where should we go? What are some ideas? What are we doing? What are we doing wrong? I don't want to get political because we all know those issues that are going on. Let's go find our joy. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you on an adventure or seeing your comments, seeing what you want. So thank you very much. I'm Chris Smith, Pride Adventure Network.